Hi, my name is Matthew Harger with Matthew Harger Photography. I'm a portrait photographer. And what I want to talk a little bit about today was beginning with and introducing yourself to film cameras. Doing portraits, a lot of times people want film. They want the look of film. They want to take the pictures in film. And so it's good to have that in your repertoire so you can add that. So when a client calls you up and says, I'm interested in getting some pictures taken, but I would like some of them done in film, that you can take care of the customer by knowing how to shoot with film. But it is difficult, and I made the mistake the first time I was going to start shooting with film. I made the mistake of buying some film cameras. I think I bought a SRT 101, and I bought a 102, and I bought a Super K, I want to say, several different film cameras, and proceeded to try and use those, and it's a bit of a learning curve. And I learned that, and when you're dealing with people who you're taking portraits of them, and this, you're obviously doing this for money, and film is not cheap. You want to make sure you get it right the first time and save yourself some issues. So even being a fairly accomplished digital camera photographer, I still had some issues with film and just getting that exposure right, getting the lighting right. And it's not like you can go back and look at the screen and see what you got. So you gotta make sure you get it right, and kind of that learning curve. So what I came up with is, or what I decided to do was, I kind of started over. Actually, it wasn't on purpose. My cameras were accidentally thrown away, all my film cameras, so I lost all the film cameras that I had and tossed in the garbage. In fact, all the rolls of film that I had and everything. It's a long story, but anyway, so now I was stuck in the position of trying to find some new film cameras. So I did a lot of research, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna kind of go back to square one and try to do this a little bit easier on myself, so I can make sure that I'm taking good pictures. I'm still getting paid for those pictures because they're coming out properly, and it's a little bit easier for me to use. So I came up with 3 cameras that I think are great for beginner film photographers to get to know film and how to use film and how to expose, and kind of just find out if you really like it, because maybe you're going to buy these film cameras and you're not going to like it because your film pictures aren't going to come out right. You're going to get discouraged, and that can be a problem too. So I thought I would give an example of 3 film cameras that I think are great for beginners, not only because they're fairly easy to use, but also they're fairly cheap. So you can buy these and give it a go and see what you think. So the first one up is going to be a Polaroid camera, because I think Polaroids are kind of cool. And it's a great way to get film, because then you're going to get the picture right away. Now, these aren't the best quality cameras in the world, but so the first one I have here is a Polaroid. And this, if you open the top here, you'll see this is called the one-step close-up. Okay, and the reason it's called the close-up is it actually has on here a dial where you can move this, and a lens comes over and you can take a close-up photo. And it also has an adjustment for exposure adjustment here, your flash here, which you always should probably use on these kind of cameras, and then you load your film in this little slot here, and the film has the battery in it. So when you buy the film, it actually comes with the battery. And I have some film here that I haven't opened yet. This is some Polaroid. You use this Polaroid 600 film. Put it in there, you get 8 exposures in here. This isn't cheap, but at least you can see kind of what you're doing, see your composition, see how your photos are going to turn out fairly instantly. I think it takes about 10 or 15 minutes for these to expose, to look right, to develop, I should say. So anyway, and this comes in a little case, and you open this up, you pop it in, and the batteries are actually in the film. So you close that back up. You just press here to take your picture, or if you don't want flash, you can press this one. You won't get flash. This one gives you flash. But I recommend always, even outdoors in good light, just use the flash. Just better. you got the battery anyway, you might as well just use the flash. So anyway, this is a great little camera. You can find these. I would say the best thing you can do is I wouldn't go to eBay for something like this. You can, and maybe you can find a deal, but I think the best thing you do is go to antique shops, estate auctions, or some kind of auction. Great way to get a hold of one of these, fairly cheap. I think I got this one for about 20 bucks. And yeah, excellent. It even came with a roll of film, but the film was from 1997. So the battery still worked. I was amazed. I popped it in there just to see the battery still worked, but the film was obviously bad. So that's the first one. Excellent camera to use, fun to use. It's not going to give you, the greatest of quality of picture, but it can at least get you started. And it's kind of fun. So get involved in some film and having some fun. So that's the first one. The next one I would recommend is this here. This is a Pentax MG. This is a great little camera. Again, it's inexpensive because not a lot of people used them, bought them. I don't know. It's got maybe a little bit of a bad reputation, and that only because film people are pretty finicky, and this one is auto. So you can set your aperture here, and you have your focus here. This is a manual focus, and then you go ahead and wind it and look into the viewfinder. One thing I do really like about this is the viewfinder is pretty nice, pretty big viewfinder. It's pretty easy to look through, and in here it'll set based on your so you have it on auto here. So when you look in there, it'll have a little light, red light, yellow light, green light, for when you set your aperture, and it'll give you your shutter speed. So it's kind of nice because you're gonna kind of get used to film and not waste a lot of film, because this will help you. Now you can put it on this 100 here and shoot with that, and that will stay on that. The one thing about, and it does have bulb mode too, but the one thing about this camera is it's not fully automatic. In other words, you need batteries. So you need 2 batteries in there, and it won't shoot without those batteries. But it's a nice little camera. It's fun, cheap. I got this camera for $15. It's in good shape, good condition, shoots well, and really enjoy it. And it's a good way, again, to start taking some pictures of film, kind of getting the feel for film, and not spending a lot of money, and getting some good results from your pictures. So, and then as you get better, obviously move on to a fully manual camera. But you still get used to the focus on this, and you can set your aperture, and so it's a fun camera. And then the last one I recommend is this, and this is a Minolta. Now I really kind of lucked out on this camera. I got this from an estate, an auction, and it only cost me 12 bucks. And another reason, this camera. Now this is a Minolta, and this is the Maxim 7000. Now this was one of the first cameras with autofocus. So now you don't even have manual focus. But when you're just learning film, it's a nice camera to have when you can just kind of let the camera do its thing. And again, learn how the film works. See what the settings are. See how your picture comes out. If you like it, if you like film, if you're, again, 12 bucks for a camera and I actually got 3 lenses for this camera for that 12 bucks. I mean, you can't beat it. Now it does have a lot of the buttons here, so you can set the ISO, you have a mode button, and I'll go a different video going through all the different aspects of this camera, but that's not the point of this one. So, I mean, this camera, I got 12 bucks and it's hardly even, I can't find a scratch on it. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. So it's, again, fully auto. So you have auto. It's one of the first cameras that was fully auto like that. So it has, autofocus and everything. So it's a really nice camera. It's fun to use. And again, like I said, 12 bucks getting into film, because then you have to get it, you not only have to take the pictures, but then you have to get them developed and everything. And some people think they're going to like it, and it's not for them. So for this, for a good, nice, cheap camera to give it a go, and you can just focus on composition and what your film is going to look like, because you do have those autofocus and everything else. Now with that camera, I was lucky enough to get this lens with it. Again, 12 bucks. I mean, this lens, not a scratch on it, no fungus. I mean, it's just in excellent condition. I think nobody ever used it. I kind of had an idea when I saw it in the auction, and it actually, the bag still has the foam in some of the pockets. I don't think anybody, I mean, when I got it, there was some film in there, and there was maybe 7 or 8 pictures that were taken. So obviously it wasn't used very often at all, because you can tell just by the condition. I mean, these lenses, they don't have a mark on them. I mean, they're in perfect condition. The glass is perfect. So yeah, I was really happy to get that. This is the 3570, which I think might have been the kit lens that came with it. It's a 70-200, and then on there is a 50 millimeter Minolta. Yeah, so excellent camera, good way to get a start and get going and see if you're gonna like film. I usually shoot black and white with film, so I have some Ilford Plus black and white film. And yeah, it's not filled. This stuff is not cheap, so it's good to find out if you're really gonna enjoy it. The other thing you can do is buy expired film, which also can save you a little bit of money. And usually you just expose a little bit, you know, the eye to the right a little bit, and get, you know, make sure you get the picture. But again, yeah, this one even came with a flash. It's never been used. Perfect condition. So I don't, like I said, it's a great camera. All this for 12 bucks, and you know, I just got lucky. But you can find this. These cameras are pretty readily available. They even came with some film. I don't know how old this is. I'm sure it's quite expired. But anyway, got some 1997. So doubt it's going to work, but you know, give it a try. It's a Fuji Super Color Plus. I mean, you never know. So anyway, those are my recommendations. If you're just getting into film, you're a beginner, you want to see if you like it, give it a try with one of these cameras and see if, you know, it's going to be for you. Because like I said, it isn't easy. It's a little bit of a hassle, you know, getting the film developed. You can't see what you shot, and it is a little bit on the expensive side to get the film. So you kind of want to make sure it's something you really want to do before you go out and get, you know, a bunch of different gear and you don't know what you're. So again, advice: check out these 3 cameras, go to an auction, antique store, and check them out and see if you can find one for, you know, a pretty good price. Even if it's not in perfect condition like this one, you know, pick it up if you can get it cheap, and give it a go. Get out there and start shooting some film and see how it goes. And then again, if you really like it and you see you're using it and you're developing the film and you're taking it out with you, hey, then go ahead and jump up to a nicer, like an OM1 cameras are nice, or the Canons, the older Canon fully automatic ones. There's a lot of nice old cameras. But that's all I got for you. So I would, you know, just recommend giving one of these a try and see if you like it, and then move on from there. Thank you very much.